Hello all. I thought I would give you a quick ride along in this 99 E38 BMW 740iL. I'd like to start it up now so you can hear it start up and get an idea of what that sounds like. And she started. Of course, you can see the steering wheel come into place at the preset. This does have 3 presets for the seats and the steering wheel for 3 different drivers. Of course, you can't really hear it running because it's a super quiet car. I described this car as driving a silent cloud, extremely comfortable and very silent. So let's get going here, and you can see and watch how this car drives. It does accelerate quite nicely for what it is. I mean, this is a luxury car. It's super quick. It's not designed to do the quarter mile in 14 flat, and you know, it's certainly not an M car. Let's be realistic about that. But it's extremely nimble, especially for the year of the car. Very responsive. You can feel the steering in the steering wheel. It churns, goes around corners very nicely, and it handles the road really well in terms of its suspension. Now, the newer cars today, I couldn't say that about them. The newer cars today, you really don't feel the steering wheel as well. It's a lot sloshier than it is in these older cars, the type of cars that connect you more to the road. This car certainly feels a lot more connected to the road than a newer car, let's say a newer 7 Series. But this is a lot better, a lot more simpler. So also to let you know, so when you turn the car on, you get all the dash lights that come on and everything. And on the stock here, you have, you could flip through all the different things that are on the computer there, showing you your miles per gallon, how far you can go, a timer, range, how far you can go on the range, distance, arrival time, and things like that. So all that's on there. There's also a meter there that tells you your service interval and when it's time for service. This car right now, it doesn't need any service, so the interval light is not on, and when you turn the car on, it shows you the progress as you're going along in your service interval. But going back to the newer versus older cars, the simplicity of these older cars is really where it's at. You didn't really, in today's cars, you don't have the simplicity of the single buttons that are on cars like this. The newer cars are so heavy with all the electronics and gadgets, things of that nature, that typically go bad. So those are multi-function displays on the new cars where one display does multiple things. But on older vehicles like this, you have one button that does one thing. So here on the steering wheel, you've got your volume and your channels, your stations, your cruise control, your telephone. Everything is on the steering wheel here, one button doing one thing. Now, the same is true in the center console, where all of your radio buttons, your air conditioner buttons, your cassette tape, even the sound system here with all the multi-display items on the sound system, even that is one button does one thing. The same is true with all the mirrors, the windows, the buttons for the seats, the 12-way adjustable seat. There's one button that does one thing, and that's the simplicity of these older cars, and that's why these things last so long. These cars go on forever. We have BMWs with over 300,000 miles on them. I've got one sitting at the house right now with a 250,000 miles on it that looks brand new, and the car, you would never be able to tell it's got 225,000 miles on it. But and I've got another one in the garage, an M3 in the garage with 188,000 miles on it, and once again, you would never be able to tell. It looks like a brand new car. People that have these kinds of older cars typically take care of them, and this one is no exception. The previous owner clearly took exceptionally good care of this car. There is plenty of documented service records that I've posted here on this ad that you can see, the things that have been done to the car over the years. Being a 20-year-old car, of course, there's going to be some things that need to be done. Basic maintenance items. Hopefully nothing's going to break on you, but maintenance things will need to be done. Things that wear out after a while from just normal wear and tear. Those things can wear out on you. This is just a super simple car that rides incredibly well and extremely comfortable, and you probably wouldn't care how long you're driving for because it's just so comfortable. You don't care what your distance is. I think this car was designed to do 150 miles an hour for hours on end, down the Autobahn, and that's pretty much what BMW was probably thinking when they built this car, that it was just so incredibly luxurious for the front passengers as well as the rear passengers who have similar seats to the front passengers, with a whole lot more room back there, of course. So the best seat of the house is probably the back seat, to tell you the truth, unless you're a driver like me, and this is the best seat in the house, behind the steering wheel. But everything on the instrument panel is working. All the gauges are working as they should. The traditional airbag light is on. Every single BMW I've had has always had the airbag light on. It can probably be cleared out with an OBD scanner. If you get your OBD scanner or your local technician, I'm sure he'll clear it out for you. But every single BMW I've had has always had that light on. I don't know what it is about BMW, but I guess they want to remind you that there's an airbag in the car. Maybe it's supposed to be on, for all I know. The stereo here is incredibly good, by the way. It's got all kinds of settings that you can set to different things. And the sound system is fantastic. One of the things they added here also was this visor. It's kind of weird, actually, and kind of deep the way that it goes. However, I like it. And the reason why I like it is because whenever I drive a car, I always put the sun visor down. And the reason why I do that is to reduce my field of vision, because I only want to see between here and here. I don't want to see the whole gamut up in the sky. I don't need to be looking up in the sky. I need to be looking down on the road and seeing what's in front of me. So I tend to have a better focus when I put my sun visor down. Now in this car, I don't need it because they were kind enough to put this visor here, and it allows me to focus mainly on the road. And I wonder whether or not the previous owner did that for the same reason. Of course, it makes the car in here very, very comfortably. I'm in 80-degree temperatures right now, and it's super cool inside the car with the air blowing at 78 degrees. It's very cool in here. All the windows, by the way, are tinted, and the front windows, I believe, are limousine tint, which I think, at least in Florida, is illegal. But it's the same darkness as the rear windows. So and this is the same darkness as well. So all the tinting matches, and that makes the interior of the car very, very comfortable, especially in warm temperatures, hot temperatures here in Florida. So I'll be quiet for just a moment so you can hear the lack of noise. And I'm on pretty rough road here. They make the roads here in Florida out of coquina seashells. So we're driving on packed coquina seashells on our road here. So it's noisier than probably where you live. But that's the way they make our roads down here, to make them last longer, I guess. So our roads are not the quietest roads in the world, but in this car, it is exceptionally quiet, and you can barely hear anything outside. So if you have any questions, of course, ask me on this post, and I'll try and answer them, and I hope you enjoy the ride.